Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Cancer Corner, and a little bit of a different video today. So if this is the obviously if you've seen the title and you're new to triathlon and this is your first time clicking on one of my videos, thank you very much. Basically have a watch, hopefully watch a few others, and get involved with the story of follow my journey from brain cancer to hopefully one day qualifying for Kona, the age groups, and basically I'll get on with a few things of what I've learnt from my first triathlon, and hopefully if you are new to the sport you can kind of learn from some of my mistakes, and basically have a bit more of a pleasant first experience than I did. But let's get into the video. Well, there's no rest for the wicked on the journey to Ironman, and basically it's Tuesday now, 2 days after the Leeds Tri. And firstly, if you haven't seen the race day video, obviously there's a few things that I'll refer back to, but I'm going to try and loop it down in the corner. If it doesn't pop up, I'm not great at editing, so don't judge me, but it should pop up and you can click and have a look at the race day video if you want. So yeah, let's get into it. So going into Bolton in a few weeks' time, I learned a couple of very valuable lessons this weekend doing the Leeds Triathlon. Obviously, like I said, it was my first proper triathlon event. I had done a couple of duathlons, and I did the virtual Leeds Tri last year, which was just a duathlon as well, because obviously all the pools were closed at the time. And so yeah, this was my first proper event in multi-sport, especially with a lot of people there. And yeah, I mean, overall, don't get me wrong, I know I started the video by saying hopefully you'll have a more pleasant experience. That's not to say I didn't enjoy the day. The day, looking back on it, now it's kind of sunk in a bit, the adrenaline's kind of stopped. It was fantastic, basically, apart from obviously getting there. But there's lessons to be learned there. These events are quite popular, and I kind of underestimated just how popular it would be. And yeah, really, I suppose the officials on the day have got a pretty big task to get everybody in and out. So pretty much what I'll say is, lesson number one, before I get into the actual specifics of swim, bike and run, is be organised. Make sure you get everything bagged up and you get to the venue and you get checked in plenty of time, because like you see at the start of the race day video, I was absolutely freaking out in the car to the point where I nearly just sacked it off and went home. It wasn't good, and we felt like we left quite a lot of time. So what I've learned from there really is, Ironman day is, even though we've got a hotel just around the corner, we're going to be getting down there very early, just to try and relieve a bit of that stress. The adrenaline's already pumping a bit to get into the event because you're excited to do it, and you don't need to be piling stress on top of that, especially as a beginner, where like me, you might be a little bit freaked out about open water and how you're going to perform in it, and the distance itself might seem a long way to you. So yeah, panicking on about silly things like getting in and missing your start time, they don't help. So yeah, definitely try and get there with plenty of time. There are uncontrollable variables like crashes and sort of heavier traffic than you anticipate, but yeah, however long you think you're going to need to get there, probably add half of that again, and you'll just get there a lot more comfortable, and you won't be like some people were in the race video, abandoning the cars and riding the bikes to the start, because I can't imagine that being a good way to start either. On the actual swim, bike, run part of the event itself, basically I'll start with the swim. Now swimming, for a lot of people who get interested in triathlon, swimming is almost like an afterthought. It's like, oh, I'll learn how to swim, and everybody enjoys going out on the bikes. Most people, well, actually a lot of triathletes that I know, don't like going for a run. I love going for a run. I've always been a runner, so basically running's been my strongest of the three disciplines. But yeah, swimming's almost like an afterthought. It's just something you think, oh, I'll get the swim out of the way, and then I'll actually get on the bike and start racing. There's a lot of people you hear say it's basically just a bike race with a swim and a run tagged on either end of it. And for the sake of racing, that is probably true. That's kind of the first mistake I think I made, is I've always trained for it as 3 different sports, and realistically, as far as racing it goes, yeah, you've got to be good at each individual element, but the actual triathlon itself is more than the sum of its parts. As an event, if you want to go fast and compete, you've got to be good at tying those 3 sports together. And the transitions, I mean, there's a huge amount of time to be gained in the swim by taking it seriously, really train hard at it. And I mean, I lost a huge amount of time in transition just because I didn't really know what I was doing. It was something I'd never practiced before. Even though my tri club did have a couple of skill sessions sort of dedicated to what to do in transition and things like that, I never really got to do them because I was so focused on the Ironman training plan. So I've kind of just stuck to my normal training plan which works on the 3 sports individually. So I mean, that's something I'm going to have to, if I'm doing more Olympic distance events, which I'd like to, that's something I'm really going to have to sort of sharpen up on. Oh, and actually a little bit on cue here, starting to get that weird twitching in my hand again like I got a few weeks back. So yeah, just a reminder to keep things sensible, but I'll try and keep filming through while this sort of goes away. Hopefully it should just go away after a few seconds. In a minute or 2 we'll carry on with the run.
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
And yeah, like magic, it's the next day now, and before I explain what happened, I'll kind of show you my head, so you can kind of see a little bit about what's happened at the top there. Yeah, pretty much right as I shut that clip off, I ended up having a bloody seizure on the side of the road, which I mean, it wasn't a bad one, don't get me wrong, it wasn't a bad one. Actually, the damage that's been caused to my hand and my head was actually because I was sat on that bench, and I tried to move down the bench, and my hand, like, basically I lost like, I had a bit of weakness on this left arm, and when I put my weight on my arm I fell off the bench. But a lovely woman called Teresa stopped and helped me out, and there was also a nurse who was driving by, so they gave me a lift home and everything's fine. But basically had a big weekend with the tri, and yeah, I missed some of my anti-seizure tablets. Actually, I missed quite a few of them last week, and all that together is probably what's caused that. But let's move on. Yeah, so sorry, I'm gonna have to film the rest of this in the bedroom here, and just, yeah, hopefully it's not too messy. So basically, yeah, like I was saying, I always trained for this from the start as 3 separate events. But I suppose you've got the swim, the bike and the run, but then you actually have the triathlon itself. I mean, there's a huge amount of time to be gained and lost in transitions and things, and learning how to tie these 3 sports together. After the Ironman, I would really like to keep doing Olympic distance. They're quite sort of sharp in intensity, which I did enjoy. But definitely, I mean, I've got to get much better on my transitions. I think I looked at one of the graphs on my timing splits, and I think my transitions were pretty much in the lowest 10% of the speed. So yeah, there's lots to improve on, but I think coming away with what I felt was a half decent time at 2:47 for the Olympic distance, and then to come away with that sort of time and have a lot of areas that I can improve on, I was pretty happy with. And moving on to the next area, obviously, like the bike. Now I think probably the fastest people are the strongest on the bike. It certainly seems to be the way that it appeared to me, looking at the times and things like that. So yeah, I think I'm going to, well, probably not so much at the moment until after the Ironman, but certainly between the Ironman and the half in September at Outlaw, I'm definitely going to try and work on trying to get that sort of bike pace that I can hold up a little bit. I'd love to be one of these guys who could go around 21 plus miles an hour and things like that. It would be fantastic. Then I'll be going fast enough to justify buying a disc wheel, and I'll get that super cool sound following me around the triathlon. And then, but the bike, I mean, like I said, it's pretty self-explanatory. You it's like any other time trial. You hold your best paced effort, really. And course recce, I would say, would be quite important, because I would have paced that a little bit differently if I knew where the bigger hills were and things. I might not have gassed my legs out a little bit trying to hold high top speeds on the flats, because I think you probably would have gained a bit more pushing up the hills. I did overtake quite a few people on the hills who had done precisely that. So yeah, course recce would probably be quite good for the bike, but definitely I've got to be a stronger cyclist if I've got any hope of qualifying for Kona one day. And then sort of finally was the run. To be quite honest, the run was a bit of a brutal little circuit as well. It was a 3-lap run, and it had a couple of big hills in it as well, actually, that you had to run up. And again, I mean, I'm a pretty strong runner. I think of the 3 disciplines, it is definitely my strongest. And I felt really good. I think I can't remember what my run split was off the top of my head. I think it was about 42 minutes or something for the 10k. But myself and a guy who was running with me, I mean, the pair of us, we were overtaking loads of people all the way around and stuff. A lot of people had probably left it all out on the bike, and then it got to the end, and yeah, but I mean, the run was pretty self-explanatory. I think the stronger you are on the bike, the fresher your legs are going to be for the run. And yeah, I think in my training plan so far, it's kind of what Ben's been trying to get me to do, is to get some strong bike legs and make sure that I'm practicing the nutrition so I get off and I'm feeling as fresh as I possibly can. So yeah, that's kind of what I learned from my first triathlon, and I hope you can pick something up out of it. For the rest of the week, unfortunately this week, because of the seizure yesterday and the fact that I've totally messed up my wrist, my knee, my hip, my head, the training plan this week is going to fall a bit by the wayside. I was meant to have like a 32k run or something tomorrow, which I just can't risk doing. I need basically to take a bit more rest and let these anti-seizure tablets build the level back up in my system after missing a bunch of them last week before I can risk going out and doing hard sessions again. So I'm going to save it mostly this week. I'm going to try and concentrate on my swim, where it's like an hour effort. I'm in the pool, so I'm keeping cool the whole time, and I can just go and work on my technique. I don't have to be gassing myself and things like that. I've also had to get in touch with Ironman to try and see if I can get, hopefully I can get a like more dedicated safety kayaker to sit with me on the swim. I don't really have many qualms about doing the swim distance. I had a really strong swim, I felt, at Leeds, with the exception of my sighting. But sighting is something I can get over. I can practice that. I mean, worst case, I can just follow the big group ahead of me and just try and do that. But yeah, hopefully I can get some sort of safety there, because at the moment the only bit of confidence I don't have is, will I be all right if I have another seizure and I'm in the water? But having a boat alongside me the whole time, and the guys at Leeds, the kayaker was never far away, and that gave me a lot of confidence, and I was really happy on the swim. But yeah, we'll see how we get on with that. And yeah, really just, I'll leave it there. I mean, hopefully you can pick up a few tips. If there's anything else that you struggle with and you go training for your first triathlon and you want me to maybe sort of like give you my perspective from it, feel free to drop a comment below. I'd love to try and help some people out and things like that. And yeah, I'll have a little bit more time on my hands this week, since some of my longer sessions for the next couple of days are going to be getting postponed. So yeah, feel free to drop the comments below. I'm off for the next couple of days as well. So yeah, or message me on Instagram. I'm more than welcome to chat to anybody who wants to get involved. And if you want to do anything involved with the charity as well, if you've got any ideas, just let me know. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you again probably towards the weekend. See you then.